pregnancy is to be done. Prima facie, her prosthetic valve looks normal over here. This is another case. Sorry, I don't have her picture. She was a 30 years old woman and now she is pregnant for 16 weeks. Incidentally, there was systolic murmur at the pulmonary area and she was totally asymptomatic. When we did her transthoracic echo, we revealed a membrane over here. You can see this is a aortic valve short axis view, transthoracic with main pulmonary artery. It is seen upside down how we see in transthoracic, transesophageal. It is just upside down where the division of pulmonary artery seen is down. So this is the normal pulmonary valve. Are you able to see? Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
we can see.
Yes. So you can see this normal pulmonary wall and there is a septum above it, okay, towards the MPA. And when I put the color Doppler, you can see tremendous turbulence over here with a chinky small pulmonary regurg. So she was obviously having supravalvular pulmonary stenosis with RVOT gradient of 50 millimeters of mercury with normal RV function. So she was advised to continue pregnancy. And after that, certainly she is to be taken off for. This 20 years old lady came to me with exertional breathlessness for last 2 months. She was having tachycardia and her echo showed pulmonary hypertension with RV systolic and diastolic failure with normal LV. And her CT showed no pulmonary embolism, no connective tissue disease, no lung issues or no infection which would take us to the secondary cause of pulmonary hypertension. So obviously she was in primary pulmonary hypertension. So showing huge right ventricle. Are you able to see this video? Are you able to appreciate? This is a plaques view with huge right ventricle and small left ventricle. And this is how we see transgastric RV inflow. This is transthoracic RV, RA-RV inflow. Why I have shown you this? Because just see the dilated coronary sinus. I have labeled it over here. Huge coronary sinus, tricuspid valve, and severe tricuspid regurgitation. And this coronary sinus dilatation would lead us to think that she is having right ventricular failure. And this is in short axis view. I had shown you picture of aortic stenosis with volume overload. Now see, look at this picture. Here the septum is depressed even during systole. Are you able to notice it? The septum is depressed even during the systole. So there is systolic pressure overload in the right ventricle in addition to volume overload. Coming to next case, now coming to this peripartum cardiomyopathy, which is also quite common. This 23 years old woman came with exertional breathlessness after delivery. There was no prior structural heart disease and LV function was recovered after 6 months. I'll just show you the scenario over here. See, this was her, these are her videos immediately post-delivery, dilated left ventricle, hardly any ejection, mitral valve is opening very weakly. This is the Sachs view across the papillary muscle, ejection is very down. This is 4-chamber view with color Doppler and showing anyway, and this is the 4-chamber with huge dilated left ventricle. So after treatment of symptomatic treatment and failure treatment of her left ventricle, she recovered spontaneously. Very fortunate lady indeed, and she has a normal ejection fraction here. So coming to the another acute situation, again postpartum, this lady 32 years old came with acute onset breathlessness. acute pulmonary edema with cardiogenic shock, and she did give family history of aortic dissection, which was of non-Marfan's type. So this is the transthoracic view, close view across the aortic valve, plaques view showing aortic dilatation and severe aortic regurg with severely depressed left ventricle. You can see that. But we couldn't make any diagnosis over here why this has happened so suddenly, why there is acute onset. So we posted her for transesophageal echocardiography, which showed beautiful flap, aortic dissection flap above the right coronary. And she was operated for Bentler and it was cured. Coming to another case, I don't have her photograph. She is a 23 years old woman with history of recent miscarriage. I want you to pay attention to this history of recent miscarriage. Came with acute onset of breathlessness, and she found to have invasive choriocarcinoma. So this is the picture. This is again transthoracic with at the level of aortic valve, short sacs view, and showing two saddle shape thrombus or mass, whatever it is. With this magnified view also you can see that. And with color you can see the turbulence and minimal pulmonary regurgitation. So this was her measurement of this thrombus. We were confused whether it is thrombus or tumor tissue. So we posted her for MRI, which showed again non-enhancing mass likely to be thrombus, saddle shape. This is the pulmonary artery bifurcation level. And this is her four-chamber transthoracic view. Beautiful McConnell signs with RV dilated, and RV function is totally depressed. I just wanted to impress upon you that only this apex is moving, that is McConnell signs, and otherwise RV is depressed function. And when we did her right ventricular systolic pressure, it was just moderate. This simply means we had expected severe pulmonary hypertension, but because her RV is, as a chamber is not pouring enough blood, and it is not generating enough gradient also. So don't go by this. Don't go by the RV function, systolic as well as diastolic, both are depressed. So this is what I mean by adverse pregnancy loss. There are many conditions in addition to hypertension, obesity and other things which are occurring in young females nowadays. In addition to that, there are many adverse pregnancy conditions like preeclampsia, preterm birth, gestational diabetes, miscarriages, and this increases the risk of CVD multifold in women. That is to be noticed. Again, the same image showing the same thing, like how these usual scenario, in addition to hypertension, the hyperlipidemia, obesity, smoking, which is common in women these days, leads to multifold increase in cardiovascular risk. Coming to MINOCA, again myocardial infarction with normal coronary arteries, quite common before the age of 50 years, and not only sudden spontaneous coronary artery dissection is one of the common cause, but I wanted you to see coronary microvascular dysfunction. There are many women with normal coronaries, but they still have angina, and with normal coronary artery, normal coronary angiogram, we are relaxed. Please don't relax. They are having microvascular dysfunction. So you have to take care of these women during surgery. When female patient comes to you with a dobutamine stress echo in her file, you have to be very careful, because when cardiologist does her dobutamine stress echo, that simply means she is not able to walk on the treadmill. That means she is having already comorbidities which are making that cardiologist to expose her to dobutamine. So whenever dobutamine comes positive, and still there is normal coronary artery in angiogram, that means they are at risk with microvascular disease. So once she is already exercising on bed, you should not worry. But when she is exposed to dobutamine test, that means you are in a problem. You have to take care of this person during operation with continue her calcium channel blocker, continue her dilators, coronary dilators. Don't relax when you see normal angiogram. That is what I want to impress upon you. This is just wanted to show you how this dobutamine stress echo is done. This is at rest. This is a 4-chamber with left ventricle on this side. And this is at low dose. This is at just before peak, and this is at peaks. Normal lateral wall showing abnormal regional wall at the peak level. This is 2 chambers showing inferior wall showing the same regional wall after dobutamine. Coming to another interesting cardiomyopathy, which is seen only in ladies, most commonly in ladies, is Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. A 50 years old lady comes with acute emotional strain and sudden onset of chest pain with ECG showing ST elevation in anterolateral leads, but it is not giving any clue that which artery is to be addressed without any reciprocal changes. And when her angiogram is done, her epicardial coronaries are normal. So what is this situation? This looks like this. It is a apical ballooning of the left ventricle, and this is known as Takotsubo. It is a Japanese word for octopus trap. It looks like this, and the LV looks like this. There is no particular regional wall motion like giving us guidance that a lady is affected or RC is affected. No, it is a mixed picture, and the theories are many, and emotional stress causing tremendous release of catecholamines, causing acute dilatation of the left ventricle is Takotsubo. And one has to be very careful, and it is managed with beta blockers and ICU treatment for a couple of days, and she recovers. Coming to heart failure with preserved ejection fraction, she's a 60-year-old woman. We have faced this situation quite commonly. She's a chronic hypertension with hypothyroidism, breathlessness on exertion, and ECG showing typical left ventricular hypertrophy. So this is her video with plaques view with huge concentric LVH. This is in short axis view. And this is her transesophageal echo. I had opportunity to do her TE also pre-operatively, fortunately, and I could show you this. And she is having grade 3 diastolic dysfunction. You can see that E by E prime is more than 26. So certainly she is a person to be considered with tremendous care one has to take during operation. But this is okay with an elderly woman with hypertension and having diastolic dysfunction. I can understand. But nowadays I am seeing so many hypertensions in young people, young women with IT professional, especially working very hard with hypertension and obesity. They do have normal ECG and they are asymptomatic because they are having hypertension. We have done their echoes and see what I have found, that her obviously in short axis view, her left ventricle is hypertrophied, though mild, at the age of 30, 34. That is to be noticed. And she did show grade 2 diastolic dysfunction after Valsalva. So just imagine at this age, if she is having diastolic dysfunction of grade 2, what will happen after 10 years, 15 years? So coming to just recapitulating all these problems in women, in addition to traditional risk factors like menopause, then diabetes, smoking, obesity, and sedentary lifestyle, family history. There are emerging risk factors. One has to, world is now very much studying all these risk factors. This is autoimmune diseases, gestational diabetes, hypertension in pregnancy, early menopause, very important risk factor, and depression. And in addition to that, cancer, breast cancer treatment like chemotherapy and radiation, and hormonal status like PCOD, infertility, hormonal therapy, and OCPs. In conclusion, there are many emerging risk factors in women. It confers additional cardiovascular risk. Pregnancy is a nature stress test which uncovers dormant structural defects, adverse pregnancy outcomes, and pregnancy-induced hypertension and diabetes mellitus are quite common. So, echocardiography plays an important role in detection, management, prognostication, and follow-up of these various conditions. Thank you.
Dr. Sanjeevani, that was an excellent presentation about cardiovascular disease in women and echocardiography. Very, very well done. I'm really happy to listen to this lecture. And Dr. Prabhu Shankar is available. Is he available?
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Can you moderate the discussion?
Yes, sir. Thank you, madam.
Please unmute yourself and yeah.
Thank you, madam, for the nice presentations. You made out the differences. The most commonest problems suffer from the ladies, especially the women. When compared to this, I have one question, madam. Even the coronaries also differs, madam. When compared to patient comes for cardiac surgeries, for CABG, even without pathologically, the diameter of the coronaries also less. And what
Yes.
the obstruction of small 20 to 30% in normal male, it's almost equal to almost 60 to 70% in the females, madam.
Yes.
And we come across, especially the mitral stenosis with the pregnancies, to preserve the babies. We have a lot of problems, madam, to maintain the hypothermia or to maintain the normothermia for the kids, to survive to make survive the baby, madam.
Yes, it's
and we have a lot of problems, especially the kids. What type of anticoagulation to be given during pregnancy to prevent the adverse effect, teratogenicity? That is that we have a lot of this one. We have a lot of problems regarding this to decide what type of anticoagulation to prevent the teratogenicities, and so many other problems also comes, madam. Especially the reserve, especially though the pathologically not much, but the cardiac reserve is less when compared to adult male, physiologically only, madam.
Yes. Taking your point further, I would like to add in differences between male and female. Female have less muscle mass. Okay.
Yes.
And they have less extraction of oxygen, VO2. When they do testing, they have observed that they have less uptake of VO2. These are natural men and women are.
Not hearing, madam. Not hearing. Hello.
We can't hear.
Can't hear, madam. You please repeat. Hello.
Hello. Are you able to listen?
Please repeat, madam.
Yeah.
Repeat.
Yeah.
Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Now, madam. Okay.
We can hear.
Okay. See, taking your point further, differences between men and women. Women have less muscle mass. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, madam. Yes.
And then they have less uptake of oxygen also. VO2 is also less, and all these make them prone to more complication. When they do cardiopulmonary testing pre-operatively, otherwise in their OPDs, this observation has been found that they have less VO2. So that is how that is a major gender difference. And coming to this anticoagulation in a prosthetic valve patient, first 3 months you have to stop warfarin or acetone, whatever it is, and you have to take her on heparin, subcutaneous heparin. That is very important. Then only teratogenicity and all those things are taken care of.
Sanjeevani, can I ask you a couple of questions? These are not difficult actually. Because the sex, that is female gender, adds to the risk of surgery, do you think it should be included in the risk stratification in non-cardiac surgery as well? Because we do include it in cardiac surgery. If you see the Euroscore, female sex gets 1 point extra.
Yes.
So for
Yes.
non-cardiac surgery, is it applicable or it's not so important?
No.
It is not included in most of the risk scorings.
No, it will come gradually because all over the world now they are studying this very extensively, heart diseases in women, and now it should come actually because consider the scenario: elderly women hysterectomy with this microvascular involvement with harming
Yes.
chest pain and with severe diastolic dysfunction. She is certainly going to be thick ventricle, going to have.
Hello.
Not hearing, madam. Not hearing.
The audio is going off in between.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now it's
Okay.
better.
Okay. See, certainly it must be included in the guidelines because you can imagine elderly women for hysterectomy with diastolic dysfunction, thick ventricle, and microvascular disease with normal coronaries. She is going to have more problem during surgery than a person, isn't it? So, surely it must be included in the risk.
Great. There are two questions. Before that, I just wanted to ask you your comment on the statement saying that God has been kind to women because He has taken away the coronary artery disease from men. It's a mostly disease of the men, coronary artery disease. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So the women live for 4 to 5 years extra than the men. If you take the average age of lifespan,
Yes.
women survives 3 to 4 years extra. So God has been kind to the ladies. What's your comment on this?
Yes. See, this is the thing which we used to think for all these years, isn't it? But
Yes.
now with women working as equal as men, having stress at home as well as outside, and though hormones are protecting them, now with I have seen patients coming with myocardial infarction, girls with 30 years, 35 years. So
Yes.
that thing has to be revisited and rewritten now. I think with scenario.
Right. There are two questions on the chat box as I can see it. What is CARPREX score?
Sorry,
CRPREG score.
I don't
Any
know.
idea?
No, I don't know.
What about Novax in
Novax,
pregnancy?
yes, Novax.
New oral anticoagulant drug.
Yeah. But they are still trying. I don't know really, but it should come. But right now we are still on subcutaneous heparin. We feel safe about it. I don't know.
Yeah, heparin is safer,
But
absolutely safer.
it is time tested for so many years. It should come. Novax may come, but I don't know.
Rachna, can you unmute and tell us what is CARPREX score?
Good morning,
Rachna?
sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Sir, I think I don't remember it exactly, but it is like for MS in pregnancy. Means there are scoring of 1, 2, 3, 4, and it is associated with PAH and adverse cardiac events along with pregnancy with MS. So I think once
Okay,
we are
okay.
discussing eco in women, then this should be a integral part. Means whether she should continue with pregnancy or should not. Means that is an important decision for her life. So this scoring is based on that.
Good.
And sir,
Yeah,
Novak
yeah.
said for first 3 months heparin, and but then there is another trauma of giving injection all the time. So if in second semester we can have Novax, uh, though there are many reports and studies evaluating safety of Novax, but still, ma'am, you're right that yes, it will take good long time to come into practice. But yes, giving injection also is like for 9 months again. It is also
Uh,
a traumatic kind of event.
Another
Yeah, yeah.
thing I wanted to tell, couldn't tell here is smoking in women.
Correct, correct.
Smoking in women causes 25% increase in risk of cardiovascular disease as compared to men. Because maybe because they have small coronaries or whatever, but the risk is multifold increase.
Yeah, this Cartrix no score is considered 4 predictors, and if you have more predictors, that is 3 or 4 predictors, it indicates increased risk of maternal and cardiac complication during pregnancy. And the other score available is called as a Zahara weighted risk score. These are some of the scores which estimate the risk of adverse outcomes during pregnancy.
Murli sir,
Yes.
Vaishali here.
Please feel free. Please feel
Good
free.
morning,
Yeah.
good morning. Dr.
Good morning.
Sanjeevani, excellent presentation. You know, somebody is stressed upon women's
Yeah, yeah.
colonial. It is very good. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Very nice
I want,
presentation. Yes.
yeah, and thank you to you, sir, because you stressed upon women. Thanks.
No,
Uh,
no, we
I
always respect women, and as men, we feel easy to pray feminine goddesses rather than male gods. I don't know why.
Other,
It's
Dr.
easy to pray to
Sanjeevani.
this feminine goddess,
Okay, thank
always
you.
Ma and Durga. Yes, yes.
Dr. Sanjeevani,
They are
I
the
want
easy
to,
to please.
yes, yes.
Yes, Vaishali.
yeah,
Yes, Vaishali.
yeah. I want to ask you one query rather. I won't say question. Um, did you ever encounter premenopausal and postmenopausal menopause? Like
Uh,
the incidence is more like after few years of menopause or anything like that?
see, that's what I wanted to clear. That pre-menopause, that is menopause, is usually seen uh, before 50, okay? In a little younger woman. And when you
Okay.
see some mishap like ischemic events after menopause, they are microvascular diseases. In menopause, less than 50 years, it may be sudden coronary artery dissection. Okay, so these are
Okay.
specification. But what I wanted to impress upon you is that this is more common in Asian women. If some thin Asian woman comes to you with normal coronary angiogram, but with chest pain or some other problems, don't neglect her and don't be relaxed. You know that her coronary are normal. She may be having extensive microvascular disease. That's what
Okay.
I wanted to, you know.
Okay. So the incidence is not more after postmenopausal.
No, it is called, of course, it is Minoka. It is called as microvascular disease. I have showed
Okay.
that this slide, no, in
Yes,
Minoka,
yes, yes.
there is
Uh-huh.
a SCAD and there is a microvascular disease also.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Any other questions?
See, they see Mars and Venus like that. Any differences?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
For the Carprex score, there are 4 items. One is the NYHA class greater than 2, or aortic valve area less than 1.5, or LVOT obstruction with a gradient of more than 30 millimeters. LVEF less than 40%, and presence of cyanosis. These are some of the items in the Carprex score. If there are more than 2 points, the risk of adverse outcomes during pregnancy is 75%. And if the Carprex score is 0, it's a low risk, and anything more than 1 is considered to be high risk. So this is in short about Carprex score. Thank you for asking that question. So we got one additional point in addition to what all Dr. Sanjeevani told us. Carprex score can be used to prognosticate the outcomes of pregnancy in patients who have cardiac disease. The 4 items are NYHA class greater than 2, left ventricular outflow tract obstruction greater than 30 millimeters of gradient, AVA, that is the aortic valve area, less than 1.2 per centimeters, LVEF less than 40%, and presence of cyanosis. Which brings to the question, in that case, you had a 30-year-old lady with RVOT gradient in pregnancy.
Yes.
Do you think these patients can develop right to left shunt at the atrial level because of the decreased systemic vascular resistance as a result of pregnancy-induced changes?
Not
This patient had RVOT gradient, 30-year-old lady. You in your presentation, this was the 4th case.
yes, yes, yes. I remember.
So if the patient already has a VSD, they'll be right to left shunt. But if there's no VSD, the patients can have a opened up PFO at the atrial level, and they may develop right to left shunt. Do you think this is a possibility? I'm just hypothesis, right? This is a hypothesis. Because RVOT gradient is there.
Yes. But RV function is normal over here. Okay. Why we allow her pregnancy? Because she's a actually young patient.
Yes, yes.
Pulmonary hypertension is not the minimal pollution. With normal system.
Yes, yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
How to differentiate patients who have ASD and pulmonary hypertension?
Yes.
With those who have pulmonary hypertension with opened up PFO. Suppose you have a patient with ASD who develops pulmonary hypertension after about 30 or 40 years. This is a patient who has pulmonary hypertension to start with and has a PFO.
We have to do her imaging, then only one can. I mean, it is not clinical at all.
Sure, sure. Is there any other question, Doctor? Anybody else? Poonam is there, Dr. Poonam or Rajiv? Dr. Poonam Malhotra is available on the call.
Sorry to inform, sir, ma'am is not available, sir, for this session.
Any lady anesthesiologist wants to say anything with reference to echocardiography in women? We have 2 more minutes to go.
Yes, Sucharita ma'am is there.
Yeah, you please invite her.
And Salome ma'am is there.
Dr. Sucharita, Salome, Pooja Natarajan, anybody wants to comment, feel free. We have 2 more minutes to go. Dr. Sucharita. Dr. Salome, if you want to say anything, please feel free. We have 1 or 2 minutes left. Ladies are important to us. We have to take care of their hearts. Do you think that the ladies' heart rate, resting heart, is a little higher than men? I think ladies' heart rate is little higher than men by about 5 to 10 beats. Is that right? Do you think you agree with me? They are very emotionally attached and they respond quickly to any. Their response time is lesser than men. That's what I think.
Dr. That will be a big debate now.
Sorry?
That will be a big debate now.
Murlidhar,
Yes,
that's
yes.
the reason for Takotsubo disease. Why?
Say that again.
That's the reason why Takotsubo, that is that ballooning of LV, is common in women because of emotional surge. Because
right. I agree.
Any mishap in the family.
I agree. If you see the old movies, you will have a middle-aged woman, and the somebody comes and tells that the son is arrested or son has been imprisoned or something like that. During the story, the lady immediately becomes she collapses.
Yes.
So this is a manifestation probably of this acute catecholamic surge and the acute cardiovascular event which can take place in women. This does not happen in men. Men do not collapse if somebody comes and tells his son is arrested by the police. But women always becomes unconscious. This is the usual story, and we think it is just dramatic effect, but it is true. I believe that it is true because the catecholamine surge can cause stress-induced cardiomyopathy, and they pass off for some time, but they recover eventually in about next 6 to 24 hours. With that, I think we will conclude this session. I'm really grateful to Sanjeevani for that excellent presentation. So many new points were brought out. She did mention about presence of VSD, balloon microvalvotomy, mitral valve replacement, pulmonary hypertension, cardiomyopathy, peripartum, aortic dissection, acute pulmonary embolism, and advanced pregnancy and microvascular dysfunction in ladies, and several other things, and all are very, very relevant. And I think we should thank her for having been with us. And she is the true perioperative cardiologist according to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Prabhu Shankar and others.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
We'll
Thank
meet
you.
next week.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeevani ma'am. Thank you, attendees and delegates. And we'll meet. It's a nice session. And we'll meet next Sunday with new topic. Thank you all.